Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Ammar Elm, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving the future growth. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to be joined by Kirsten Carey, founder and CEO of Evolve Minded, a visionary practice that helps high-achieving founders align their clarity, culture, and cash flow with holistic well-being. Through coaching, brain frameworks, and curated revenue streams, Kirsten empowers her clients to scale with soul and resilience. Kirsten, welcome to Founders Future.
Hi, I like that intro. I'm going to start using it for myself. You guys wrote a really brilliant one.
There you go. I give you permission to steal it.
Thank you.
I always like to start from the beginning. So take us on a trip down memory lane to before you started Evolve Minded. What were you doing at the time? And then what was really the motivation behind starting the company?
Yeah, so this is an interesting question because my journey was a little different than most. So I pretty much started my company in my dorm room when I was 18 years old back in college at 30, just say 30 some years ago. And I was dating a guy who I later married, who I later divorced, who was an entrepreneur. So I thought it was fun to help him market these companies that he also started from his dorm room. And I was in communications with persuasion as a major focus in classes and a minor in business. And I couldn't believe they would give me a degree in this because it was playtime for me. And I love the human behavior side of it, the psychology side of it, why people make decisions the way they do, how that influences business. And so I started with my ex-husband building his companies. And then I started getting outside people to ask me to help me build theirs. Then I started getting hired by big companies like Verizon and UPS and Aramark to come in and work with their high-level execs to make them more persuasive, more effective in front of audiences. And then the sales team started hiring me to help them write their sales scripts and their sales processes for the non-sales people in the companies. So I was having so much fun and I was making a bunch of money and I was in my early 20s. So I didn't even know how much I didn't know, but I just, with the 20-something-year-old confidence that I had, I was doing great. And I had some phenomenal mentors who taught me how to normalize pricing in 5 and 6 figure contracts. So I fortunately had a lot of the people who are now my age, people mentoring me and learning from them. And then I just kept hitting the ground running. So in my early mid 30s, I didn't realize at the time, but I started getting sick. And I was really tired all the time, but I was traveling constantly and I was being brought in for these large conferences and I was on planes all the time. But I didn't understand what was going wrong. I was an athlete most of my life. So the idea that suddenly I was gaining weight and I didn't feel good and I didn't have any energy and my skin was a train wreck and I didn't understand what was going on. And so I went through conventional medicine, got some answers, but mostly just pharmaceuticals. And then I went through some natural medical kind of approaches. And I ended up with a diagnosis of celiac disease, which is an autoimmune condition. And then later Hashimoto's, which is autoimmune of the thyroid. And it really literally shut me down. So I built this amazing company, this amazing practice, this amazing consulting firm, and I basically had to shut it all down. And so I hit a wall, figuratively, spiritually, emotionally. And I kept thinking there's got to be an answer besides just managing the symptoms. So, like every other thought process person who likes to solve problems, I went back to school to become a holistic practitioner. So I went through thousands of hours and years of training, and I have a bunch of letters after my name that have a lot to do with healing.
Yeah.
So I went through that journey and I built a company, a 7-figure company coming out of that to help other people reverse autoimmune conditions for 15 years. And about 2 years ago, I started feeling the push to complete that part of my life and really step officially back into the marketing and sales part of what really drives me, because I get really excited about businesses and helping other people. And what was beautiful the whole time I was helping people reverse their autoimmune physical issues, I was also learning the spiritual, emotional science side of that, the neuroresilience component. And I loved that so much because it brought all the persuasion and all of that into the human element and why people make decisions and how they get as sick as we do. And so I've since reversed all my autoimmune issues.
Congrats.
But during that 15-year journey, helping people reverse theirs, I also found that I was still mentoring a lot of other practitioners, especially on how do they build their businesses, because they kept saying, how did you do this?
Yeah.
When people aren't willing to pay for their health. And there's this message that kind of runs through the natural healing community that we are there to serve and we are not there to make money. And we are there to basically suffer financially because money is bad and it's unfair to charge people to help them with their healing, which I bought into, frankly, when I first got in. And then I realized I wasn't helping them by hurting myself and suffering and hitting rock bottom and burnout. So even though I was still frontward facing, helping people heal their bodies, I was in the background also mentoring 5 to 10 people a year to help them build their businesses. So when I decided I was complete with the healing on the physical side for people, I handed that part of the company off to the coaches who worked for me.
Cool.
And I stepped officially back into this. And for me, Evolve had been evolving since I was 18 in a dorm room to what it is now, which is more of this holistic approach to sales and marketing and alignment for who you are as a business owner. Because I know you talk to a lot of business owners, you see the burnout, you see the story of how we're supposed to keep going and sleep 3 hours and celebrate that. And that's not okay.
Yeah.
So that was a longer answer to a short question, but that kind of
was perfect. No, I appreciate you breaking that down. That is a fantastic story. And it's so interesting how the universe works, how it led you down so many paths that don't seem aligned, but in the when you look back and you're connecting the dots, it's, oh, this was the perfect thing that could have happened to build you into the person that you are today. And you mentioned burned out in business owners, and I completely agree. I think a big part of it is people don't integrate the spiritual side, they don't integrate the emotional side, the mental health side, and it's all focused on the physical actions. When I believe there's 3 planes of existence, there's mental, spiritual, physical, and physical is just 33% of it. So you're neglecting 2/3 if you're just a focus on the physical. I would love to give the listeners more context in Evolve Minded. That way they can really wrap their head around the business. So can you help us understand who is your ideal client? Who do you love to work with? And then what are the different offers and services that you provide?
That's a great question. So who I love to work with, typically it's a lot of women, though I have male clients, but women tend to really gravitate towards me because I don't take that bro with my Lambo energy, that for exactly that energy I'm talking about. It's that it works for some people, and hallelujah if it's working for you. But I find a lot of people don't resonate well with that force structured, scripted way of coming at a potential client, and that they want to flow a little bit more easily into what makes them brilliant without giving away too much as well. So I tend to do really well with founders. So I love the name of the podcast as well. But founders and people who got into the business because they really wanted to serve people with their brilliance of what makes them unique, but the business side of it wasn't the thing they loved the most. So the sales piece feels very icky for a lot of them. So it tends to be non-sales people who are forced into the sales piece because a lot of business owners are the front runners of the sales team, even when they have other people on the team as well. So it's typically people who are moving towards that $1 million mark, right? They've gotten pretty much to the 6 figures or they're close, and they just don't understand what they're doing to tweak that. And a lot of people could tweak a few things and make more money in their net profit, the money that they end up with in their pocket at the end of the year, rather than just increasing the gross revenue. Because with gross revenue, sometimes you're also increasing all of your expenses in a way that you're not really making more money. I've had businesses, brick and mortar, as well as online businesses, that I've had 28 employees. Every 2 weeks, we had to come up with $30,000 to pay payroll. And sometimes increasing revenue doesn't help the whole process of the business. So I'm really good at being able to quickly identify where you could make change to make more net profits, not have to increase the number of people on your team, or not have to increase the expense or the time that you're putting into it. So I don't love it when somebody's, I can help you make more money, but I see all the resources then also running out the door. And a lot of people could make some tweaks in a way that makes them within 90 days, doubling or tripling the amount of people they're bringing into the company, the amount of money they're bringing in. So I love it when I can see somebody who already has a process, they already understand what they do, but they feel out of alignment with it. They know something's not right, but they can't figure out why because they're looking at it from the inside and they're emotionally attached to what the decisions are, right? Where I can come in and see it from a bigger perspective. I love that. And I have a client who actually literally just started with me on Monday. So this is 4 days ago. And within 4 days, she's already realigned so much of her process. So much has happened in 4 days.
Wow.
Who's coming to me, the conversations have changed. Like by the end of the month, she 100% is going to have more clients, but she feels aligned. So she's sleeping better. She feels better about herself. She's not working so hard. She doesn't have that grind energy. So when I work with somebody, typically I put them through a process called the clarity method.
Okay.
Where I have them fill out information. We do like an intake form, just as I did when I was working with people in healing, and find out where they think they need the help, where I identify they need the help. And I put them through a process that I've now pulled some AI components into it. And we figure out where their best point of alignment is, what makes them naturally brilliant, and where they may be leaning on pieces of themselves that were more conditioned belief systems than it was more of a natural belief system. And then I help them move those conditioned pieces out of the way so they can just lean all in. It's like getting into a river and letting the current take you.
Yeah.
And feeling confident you're going to end up exactly where you are rather than trying to swim across stream against the current.
Yeah.
And the flow of it's amazing, but the way I built this process, it's mind blowing. I had another client who she took the report and she's, oh, thanks for the report. And I'm going to go off on my own. And I just let her because I knew she needed to sit with it. 4 weeks later, she emailed me and said, we have to work together. My life has changed dramatically in every aspect in the last 4 weeks because of just what I've learned here.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. And then we build them based on what makes them unique, not here's a formula, here's the system, here's the script.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. You're preaching to the choir. I'm super bought into everything that you talk about. And I do really believe this is the secret sauce that a lot of people are missing. It's not a new tactic. It's not a new ad. It's not a new XYZ. It's a lot of it is just getting out of your own way.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure that a lot of the listeners are intrigued by what you're saying. I'm curious, can you briefly explain to us what does a typical client engagement look like? So if I'm like, okay, Kirsten, I want to come work with you. How long is it, like a 30-day engagement, 90-day, 6 months? Walk me through that.
Yeah. So the typical, and some people are kind of outliers, but the typical is about a 90-day process that we go through. Because if somebody's not willing to put at least 90 days into something, you're not going to see the shift and the change because you've got an unreasonable expectation, I think, of what can happen. You definitely see things happening in the first few weeks, but 90 days is a really good chunk to really lean in. I have some clients who hang around for much longer than that. But the shift is typically, again, we do this report in the beginning. It's like almost 20 pages of realization and understanding of who you really are at a deeper level. It also will identify if you are even reaching out to the ideal client for you, what the niche market is that's better for you. It analyzes your website, all of the pieces that I take in as well manually, as well as putting through the process. But I have gotten to a point because I built $1 million company off of one offer, all in with the clients that I had in the healing space. And I think something's really changed and something is different now. And I used to go all in with that. You could scale a business that way and all of it. What I have felt, even in the last 6 months, is that no one fits into that box the way that we used to. And too many people use that system of the funnel in a way that didn't serve the client. They tried to shove too many round pegs into square holes. So I've taken a step back from that and I've done more unique design of a program for people when they come to me. Everyone goes through the process where we go through the report first. Then we sit down and say, what's right for you? Is 90 days more appropriate for you? Is 6 months more appropriate for you? Is a year long more appropriate for you? And it's slight tweaks for some people. Some of them need more one-on-one hand-holding and some of them need more so just help you do it along the way. But I've shifted away from everyone fits the 90 days, everyone goes into it like this, and I customize a little bit more, personalize it a little bit more. Though the majority of people, 90 days to 6 months is the typical, but they don't just get shoved into a program, go watch these videos, and I'll see you at a group program once a month.
Yeah. Is there a one-on-one component?
Definitely. And I think now, based on what we've seen happen in the last 5 or 6 years where we really saw this arc of all these people coming in and doing the formula for the funnels. There needs to be more of a one-on-one component, because with just AI and all these group programs and do-it-yourself programs and done-for-you programs, there's a group of people who are being lost in the shuffle somewhere, who want to learn, but they know they don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
they don't even know what to ask.
For sure. They've already invested in themselves, but there's something within the process itself that's still holding them back.
Yep.
I'm super curious from your perspective, or what you're actually doing to implement this in terms of lead generation.
Mm.
So if you want to acquire more customers, what are you doing right now to generate more leads?
So I've actually stepped back. I'm such the contrarian today. I've stepped back from the more leads and gone to more ideal connections.
Yep.
So I'm all about the podcasts right now. I said this as we started. I've done 32 podcasts in the last 90 days. I'm on a roll. I'm actually just about to launch my own podcast, so I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at media and mediums that allow me to truly step in as who I am. I had a YouTube channel that was really big. It was all in the health space. I had thousands of hours over 10 years built into that. And one day YouTube showed up and shut off my account, said you violated a policy, and never told me what it was. I couldn't
Wow.
get an answer from them. And I watched that happen to other colleagues.
Oh my God.
And I thought, you know what? I don't like this. And during COVID, as a health practitioner, we were not allowed to say very simple things like take vitamin C, because we were violating some other policy at that point. So I really have taken a step back and said, what mediums are allowing me to truly step in as who I am? So I don't dance on TikTok. I'm not the girl who loves Instagram. I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, making true solid connections. I love to get onto podcasts like this that really understand and call to a specific audience. And I make relationships. Some of the best things that have happened to me getting onto podcasts is the podcast hosts love what I have to say, and they invite me in to speak to their clients as a guest.
Yeah.
And I've picked clients up like that. So I'm going more for quality now than I ever have for quantity. Because when you're in front of the right people, those people also know more people. So I'm seeing more referrals happen, because I'm really leaning into who do I want to work with now. And I don't do the big scale piece anymore. I really, once I came back into this market officially, I pared down. I'm going for quality of life more than the giant business again. I've really taken a step, and maybe it's because once I crossed into my 50s, something changed. No F's to give anymore, energy. But I'm going for quality and the type of people I really want to work with, and going deep with them rather than trying to go wide with a lot of people.
I love that. I love that so much. I can sense the authenticity coming off you, the self-reflection, the years of evolution. I would not have guessed you're over 50. No
You
chance.
are beautiful.
But
Thank you.
I'm curious, with that in mind, everything you just mentioned, what does your vision look like? So if you project yourself 12 months into the future, paint me that picture. What are your goals, priorities? What are you looking to accomplish?
I want to get more into, I used to do a lot of retreats with my health clients and saw some brilliant things happening at those retreats. When you can do things in a group space, but in a smaller, more concentrated level over the course of 3 or 4 or 5 days, you can do so much in a way that you could never do online. So I'm planning on doing more of those retreats where I'm bringing other business owners together in similar spaces to help support each other. I see a collective happening in a different way than I've ever seen before, in the universe as a collective, but as people supporting people. And we're getting away from the millions of followers, because I know people who have millions of followers on social and are making $0, or they're not making the money the way that you would think they are. I want to go again deeper with fewer people than trying to mass support, and helping people create relationships within other business owners to help them help their own businesses better, like podcasters are. 12 months from now, I still see me with a very limited number of clients because I only have limited space. Having the AI and chats, GPT and things like that support me, but also having just a couple of key players that work for me the way that I've always done it, rather than going big, going deep.
I like that. What do you feel? And by the way, I run retreats in Colombia, so I co-host masterminds, and
yeah, I have friends that do that too. They're part of a shaman group up there that do that as well.
Very cool.
Yeah.
It's less on the shaman side, but a lot of it is still on the mental health, the emotional health. We bring 8 guys and we do 8 to 10 days. We go to this like lake house
Yeah.
mansion. It's awesome. And you are so right. When you're living with people essentially that are strangers for that period of time, and there's intentionality behind it,
Yes.
then a lot of evolution can happen, a lot of growth can happen in that period of time.
Yeah, because you can also pull in elements that most business owners forget about. Like I can still pull in elements of the health piece that help them feel better, stronger, happier, more joyful. They can receive more without putting in more grind.
Yeah.
So I can also get into kind of the piece of the elements where I'm not going to just hand them a meal plan and send them on their merry way, but is your body supporting where you are at this point? Did you have that fluidity of mind, body, spirit as a whole being rather than just trying to separate the thought or the
Yeah.
tactic or the piece? So
Yeah.
I'm 100% behind you.
I love that. And you get people out of their element and
Yes.
to a new country, new environment, and that does a lot in and of itself. But I'm curious, what do you feel like is the biggest challenge you're facing right now as a business owner?
I think it's always just outside perspective on if what I'm seeing is truth or is it actually a pattern that I've fallen into as well, because we don't know what we don't know. And when you get into a space where you think you can just do it on your own, and especially people in my generation, Gen X, we're known for being hyper independent.
Mm,
And we were raised to believe that's the only way you could do things, right? We're known as the latchkey generation for a reason. And we celebrate that part of us. So I know a lot of 45 to 60-year-olds, we all have this conversation a lot. And I think the outside perspective is incredibly helpful. So I'm always looking for mentors and people that I can collaborate with who get it. And
mm,
when you meet somebody who gets it, you know what it is, but you
yeah.
don't know it till you see it sometimes. It's always finding more people or the people you resonate the best with who also aren't just trying to get something from you. You
Yeah.
want that beautiful balance on all sides and having that kind of mastermind energy of people supporting each other because they're supporting each other and everyone feels they're getting something in return as well as they are receiving and giving. So it's that balance, that universal laws balance with the people around me.
Yeah. I love that. We have a lot of people listening to this. So is there anything specific that you're looking for outside perspective on?
Again, it's back to the you don't know what you don't know. So it's the reflection back to this feels right for me. What do
Yeah.
you guys see on this? And am I crazy? I'm always in a program somewhere for somebody to help support me. And the program that I'm currently in, I feel like the coaches, they're just like, there's one way to do things and that's the only way to do it. And if I come up with something that's not in that exact line of the way they've done it, then they say, no, don't do it that way, do it this way. And I'm like, is that correct? And then I think, am I fighting it because I just want it to be, or am I fighting it because of something else, or are they right?
Yeah.
So it's nice to have outside people who also aren't connected emotionally to what your choice is.
Yeah.
If I don't do it their way and it works, what does that mean about their program kind of thing? So I'm
Yeah,
always looking for that as well.
for sure. Last question, or I guess two last questions. One being, if you could speak to new entrepreneurs
Mm.
and give them a piece of advice that you wish you knew when you first started for them to live a more fulfilling life overall, what would that be? And then the second question is, how can people reach you?
Great question. So the first thing, and unfortunately I did get some of this early on, is to help normalize money. Most of us have wounds that run very deep based on how we were raised over money. People think it's bad, it's evil, we root of all evil, the stories that we get. So have a collective group around you who normalize the discussion of money being exactly the normal and charging being appropriate and why it serves you and why it serves your client base and all of that. The other thing within that same thing is that you have to see the body, mind, and soul as a whole component. They are not separatable, whatever the word is that I want to say there. Everybody's going to fill in the blank. Because when you do that, because you want to push and you want to grind, the body will come at you. It will come back for you.
Yeah.
So the symptoms that you were feeling, whether you're not sleeping or you're gaining weight or you're not feeling good, that is a direct reflection on something you're also doing from a business perspective as well. So that outside perspective, that outside representation is also a representation of what's going on internally and vice versa.
Mm,
So you can't separate. Let me just go hard on this to build the business, and I will suffer over here, and my relationships will suffer, and my body will suffer. It will come for you. Like the universe wants you to be balanced and resourced. So keep that in mind the whole time, that even if you don't notice it right now, you're getting away with it if you're not trying to find that balance. So get someone to help you find that balance. And then if somebody wants to get a hold of me, the best place to find me is either LinkedIn or evolveminded.com. And I'm constantly putting up new things and support for people on the website that they can download and get more information. Because I know most people, especially now, the trust factor for companies and for businesses and governments and all the things are still lowest point I think they've ever been, at least in my more than half a century of being here. So there's a lot of touch points where you can see it, break it down my models, see what I'm doing. And if you want more support, or even just frankly want to have a basic conversation over where you are right now, and if I'm the right person to help you get there, even if it's not me, I can at least give you some reflection and feedback. Jump on a call with me and we'll have a conversation.
Kirsten, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So that wraps up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And if you're a business owner and you're looking to scale your company and really enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to discover how we can support your growth journey. Until then, keep on climbing.